My name is Eden Espinosa. I'm just going to read a little bit here about a very special woman. Ruth Coker Burks. The name may not sound familiar, but her contributions to the medical and LGBT community, along with her compassion, are still being felt today. Tonight, we are here to share her story of countless acts of heroism and unconditional love. It's unfathomable to think she was once one of the most hated women in Arkansas. We now celebrate her achievements and the legacy she has intertwined into the fabric of the gay community. This is the remarkable, true story of the cemetery angel. As told by Arkansas Times reporter David Kuhn and Ruth Coker Burks herself. It's hard to convince people these days that one lonely person can budge the vast stone wheel of apathy. One pair of willing hands might inspire thousands or millions to push. And that's the way the world was changed. One person found the courage to push the wheel, and that person is Ruth Coker Burks. In the darkest hour of the AIDS epidemic, Ruth cared for hundreds of people whose families had abandoned them. Courage, love, and the 30-year secret of one little graveyard in Hot Springs. This was Ruth in her own words. It was Christmas 1983 while I was in Hawaii visiting my gay cousin who lives in Honolulu. I had heard of this disease which was killing gay men and killing them fast. It was called GRID, gay-related immune deficiency. My cousin told me that it was okay. It only hit gay men in San Francisco. No need to worry, just have fun. In that spring, I sold a house to a guy who would be moving right in to be closer to the hospital where his brother was. He said that his brother was not any better and was getting worse, and the doctors, they couldn't find any answers. I took a huge risk. I asked Gordon if his brother was gay. I then told him about this new disease, this horrible disease that was killing young men. His doctor called me and asked if I could come to the hospital and take a look. I wasn't a nurse or a medical professional. I just played one from time to time. I walked in, and he had the look, and he was very close to dying. The CDC instructed us to burn everything that had come into contact with him, and we did. We were all sure that we had contracted AIDS. I thought, oh my God, what was I going to do? I had a daughter to raise. I didn't want to die. I was only 25 years old. I was overwhelmed. I was still scared, and I prayed, and I asked God for guidance. I asked him, why? Why me, God? And he answered, why not you?
In 1984 in Little Rock, Ruth was helping care for a friend who had cancer. Her friend eventually went through 5 surgeries. Burks said she spent a lot of time that year parked in hospitals. One day she noticed a door with a big red bag over it. Whether it was because of curiosity or, as she believes today, some higher power moving her. Burks eventually disregarded the warnings on the red door and snuck into her room. In bed was a skeletal young man, wasted no less than 100 pounds.
He told her he wanted to see his mother before he died. Burks wrangled a number for the young man's mother out of one of the nurses and then called. She was only able to speak for a moment before the woman on the line hung up on her. I called her back, Burks said. I said, if you hang up on me again, I will put your son's obituary in your hometown newspaper and I will list his cause of death. Then I had her attention. Her son was a sinner, the woman told Burks, and he was already dead to her as far as she was concerned. She wouldn't even claim his body when he died. It was a hymn Burks would hear again and again and again over the next decade.
When Ruth Coker Burks was a girl, her mother got into a fight with her uncle to make sure that he and his branch of the family tree would never lie in the same dirt as the rest of them. Burks said her mother quietly bought every available grave space in the cemetery. 262 plots. I always wondered what I was going to do with the cemetery, she said. Who knew that there would come a time when people didn't want to bury their children? Files Cemetery is where Burks buried the ashes of men she'd seen die. She paid for the cremation out of her savings. on behalf of the countless people's lives that you have changed, it is our distinct honor to have you here tonight and to share your story. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruth Coker Burks.
Yeah. And now, from the Broadway cast of Wicked, please welcome Daniel Quadrino singing the anthem dedicated to Ruth.
You're broken down and tired, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll bring the world to its feet and move, move, move mountains. Bring it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up. I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. All we need is hope. And for that we have each other. And for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise. And I'll rise up, rise like the day, I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I'll rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, rise like the day, we'll rise up. In spite of the ache, we'll rise up for you, for you, for you.